Okay, it's time to Rocka with the Muppets. Today we're at Disney's Hollywood Studios to ride the new Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. We'll show you what's changed, what's new, and everything you need to know about the reimagined attraction. Just about a year ago, we said goodbye to Muppets Courtyard and Muppet Vision 3D, so we're super excited to have a Muppets attraction back at Disney's Hollywood Studios. But first, it's important that we visit the Chinese Theater to pay homage to Jim Henson and take a look at his handprints. Jim Henson and Kermit the Frog immortalized their handprints in wet cement on August 28, 1989, a permanent reminder of a creative legacy that changed the world. And if you're looking for it, it's right in the middle on a green tile. All right, walking up, the new paint job looks amazing. I love these darker colors. Wow, the guitar looks so good. I love the psychedelic colors. Posted 75-minute wait at the moment. Let's jump right in and go rock out with the Electric Mayhem. Wow, the new poster looks so good. I wonder if there's any hidden Mickeys or hidden Steven Tylers in there. Actually, what is the chord that Dr. Teeth is playing? For all my music theory nerds. And now we have one of the piano keys painted gold to mimic Dr. Teeth's tooth and that exquisite vibe. This looks so good. Also, fun fact, at one point, the Hollywood Tower of Terror was supposed to be tied into the storyline of G-Force Records. All right, it's up to an 85-minute wait. Yeah, just a little bit ago, it was extended all the way into the villain show area, all the way down here. So it's quite popular, to say the least. We're heading inside G-Force Records for a VIP tour of the Muppets Music Studio, where the Electric Mayhem are jamming out and running very late to their own concert across town. Some things really never change. Their band manager Scooter and the Muppets must hatch a plan to get everyone, including you, to the show. So here's what's the same on the attraction. You still have a 48-inch height requirement. You still have that powerful 0 to 60 mile an hour launch in 3 seconds. The track layout hasn't changed. You still have 3 inversions, 2 of those being rollover loops and 1 being a corkscrew. And the ride reaches forces of 5 Gs during the first inversion. While the layout hasn't changed, what has changed is, unlike the former attraction where the music was tied to the limo's license plate, Rock and Roller Coaster Starring The Muppets features a fully randomized soundtrack of 5 onboard tracks by Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. Those tracks include Song 2, Born to Be Wild featuring Camilla the Chicken, Love Roller Coaster featuring Jennifer Hudson and Questlove, Rock Rock Till You Drop featuring Def Leppard, and Walkin' on Sunshine featuring Kelly Clarkson. And of course, not to mention, the Muppets have completely taken over G-Force Records. That looks oddly familiar. Okay, we're about to go in. As we step into the lobby of G-Force Records, there's an event live stream with over 30 minutes of footage. You'll see celebrity cameos from Weird Al to John Stamos, and so many references we could make an entire video on this alone. Our favorites are Ileana Douglas, Ken Marino, and the references to the Abraham Lincoln and Billy the Goat animatronics. Starting with Ileana Douglas, she was the manager for Aerosmith in the former attraction, with dialogue pulled straight from the pre-show. An absolute delight. Next we have Ken Marino, who played the audio technician in the original pre-show. This was a non-speaking role with no specific character name. You'll find out he's now moved up in the leagues at G-Force Records, and we'll talk more about that later. As for the Abraham Lincoln animatronic, it's referenced by Bobo the Bear, as that dude is from the Hall of Presidents. Kind of a big deal. The Abe Lincoln animatronic was Disney's first fully functioning human audio animatronic, capable of standing, gesturing, speaking, and displaying synchronized facial expressions. This groundbreaking technology paved the way for the Hall of Presidents and later inspired countless Disney animatronics, from Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion to the new Scooter figure on Rock and Roller Coaster. The original prototype figure is on display here at Disney's Hollywood Studios and the Walt Disney Presents attraction. Lastly, we have Billy, which is the famous goat animatronic on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Disneyland. They are famously known for chewing a stick of dynamite. Bobo the Bear will say, "Hey, don't stare at him." Goat tricks. Essentially, the goat trick is an optical illusion. By staring at Billy during the drop, it confuses your brain and inner ear, making the ride feel faster, more intense, and disorienting. I absolutely love that they threw this reference in here. Sadly, the classic marble doors are gone from the former attraction, but don't worry, they are still technically here. Making her way through the queue, Yolanda the Rat works for G-Force Records, and she's curated this gallery. Sometimes you'll also hear her giving the safety spiel while waiting in line, along with other Muppets. The gallery features Miss Piggy's dress, Kermit's banjo, and the Electric Mayhem's instruments, which Janice and Floyd's instruments are from the Muppet Show. So they're very, very historic, and I also just love how cute it is seeing the scale of these props. Before the pre-show, you could find J.P. Gross, the owner of Muppets Theater and the new owner of G-Force Records. This next one is easy to miss. Right before the pre-show, you can find a record for Here Come the Muppets. It becomes hidden when the pre-show doors open, making this Easter egg even easier to overlook. Here Come the Muppets was a live show opened in 1990, later being replaced in that location by Voyage of the Little Mermaid, which is now The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure. As we make our way into the pre-show, there are a ton of Easter eggs to cover, but first we have to talk about the new Scooter animatronic. Scooter is one of the very first times Imagineers have incorporated motion capture into an animatronic. They used Scooter's performer David Rudman to act out the role so his authentic movements could be programmed into the animatronic. This movement is so believable, a guest in front of us even thought someone was controlling them as a Muppet. Absolutely breathtaking to hear that coming from someone else. Now for the Easter eggs. There's a cool little homage to the former attraction, the Gibson Black Les Paul. This guitar was in the former pre-show, and this guitar was referenced by Joe Perry. During the pre-show, Joe Perry would ask,
"Chris, can you grab my Black Les Paul?"
And at one point, a cast member would walk into the studio area, grab the guitar from the stand, and then hand it off to the band. On the right side of the mixing console, we have the rainbow connectors, an obvious reference to the song Rainbow Connection. Tucked away behind the mixing console, you can find a super stretch limo. In front of Scooter, we have the Hey 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 mug from the former pre-show dialogue.
Hey, don't mind us. We'll be finished in just a minute. Yeah.
There's also a hidden Mickey beside Scooter. Like the former pre-show, it's in guitar cables, but this time it has a red and black color, mimicking the colors of Mickey Mouse.
Excuse me, Mayhem? Yeah, can I can you just, rock and roll! Hey, Pepper, how's that sound? Electric Mayhem, we should really be heading to your concert. We're already very late.
Whoa, look at all the looky-loos.
Oh, hey, the VIP tour. Welcome, everyone.
What's happening? Hey, Bob. Hey, what's happening? Rock.
Wait, you have been at the studio this whole time?
Indeed. We've been rehearsing for the big show.
We're at the big show, and you were due on stage hours ago.
Hey, Scooter, why didn't you tell us we was late?
But Fozzie.
I tried to stall, but tough crowd. Hey, you guys better get moving. Traffic is so bad it'd be faster to waka waka.
I don't know how much longer this crowd's gonna wait.
Don't worry, Kermit. The Mayhem will be there.
Good.
Though I have no idea how. Dr. Honeydew.
Oh, excuse us. Beaker and I were just testing the latest innovation from Muppet Labs, the lengthy immediate motion object.
A limo.
It's pronounced limo, actually.
How fast can I get the van here?
Factoring in the current traffic conditions.
You got a minute and a half. Woo-hoo! Okay, you should get going.
But what about all of them?
How we feel about our band?
All right, how about backstage passes for everyone?
I love that idea.
Get moving.
Come on, gang. We got places to be and people to rock.
Studios, Mobile Labs, Automotive Lab. I'm gonna get you VIPs to the concert ASAP.
Now that we got our backstage passes, it's time to make our way into the alleyway. For the next reference, I could be wrong here, but I think Disney is playing into the idea that Scooter is an animatronic. With Scooter's impressive Employee of the Month streak, it makes perfect sense. He's always here working from open to close, 7 days a week. You can't really compete with that. Even in some of Disney's recent posts, some of the Muppets go on with the joke that Scooter is an animatronic, while some Muppets are not fully aware. Also in this room, there is framed a photograph of a G-Force employee portrayed by Ken Marino. Like I mentioned earlier, this was the non-speaking technician role they had, but now you can see G-Force Records is identifying him as having an outstanding lifetime achievement and being a G-Force legend. As we step into the alleyway, it's easy to miss, but if you look to the right, you'll see a bunch of crates, and on top of them are Statler and Waldorf's chairs from Muppet Vision 3D. And right next to that, you'll have a sarcophagus wearing the Muppet Vision 3D glasses.
And at the bottom, you'll see a dinosaur statue, which was from the Boneyard in Dinoland, USA. Too soon, Disney.
Also, right beside this, on the wall, you'll see the 1401 Flower Street. This is the famous real-world headquarters of Walt Disney Imagineering. And across from the theater seats, we have parking violations stuck to Swedish Chef's hot dog cart. They're written by B. Conway, Frank O., and Jim H. B. Conway, the associate set director for Walt Disney Imagineering. Frank Oz, best known for his involvement with Jim Henson and George Lucas through The Muppets, Sesame Street, and Star Wars. And then obviously Jim H. is none other than Jim Henson, who needs no introduction. Right next to that, the Rats have a Squeakeasy bar with the opening year 1936. This refers to when Jim Henson was born. We also now have the LA Down Under Comedy Club, where Pepe the Prawn and Fozzie Bear perform. And I also wanted to point out on Fozzie's poster, it says Waka Waka This Way, which is honestly one of my favorite things I've discovered so far. Moving along, we have Gonzo's Stunt School with the banner and plane, along with the crates from Muppet Vision 3D. All of these are from the pre-show. There's also a painting of the Mona Lisa from the former Mama Melrose Ristorante Italiano. This was located in Muppet's courtyard. Above this, we have the plumber statue from the Muppet movie, and then we have the cannon from Muppet Vision that the penguins used to shoot at Swedish Chef. Also on the poster for Gonzo's Stunt School, you have the address 51489 Gower Street. This is the physical street address that Rock and Roller Coaster is on. In the single rider line, we have a Bean Bunny reference to Muppet Vision 3D, along with a missing Muppaphone for Marvin Suggs and his Muppaphone. And if you're looking for the missing Muppaphone, it's directly across on the exterior staircase. We also have a poster for the marble door, plus a jar of marbles directly on the other side. I was informed by a cast member that these were taken from one of the old entrance doors from the original ride. Similar to Muppet Vision 3D, there was a key under the mat, but now in a fun, zany way with piano keys. Also in the single rider line, we get a better view of the Soto billboard. This is a deep cut to the 1979 Muppet movie when Kermit and Fozzie hide from Doc Hopper. Also, a super subtle detail I've noticed is the lights will flicker when the limos take off. Pretty cool detail. You'll notice the same thing happens when Beaker blasts into the pre-show scene. By the load area, we have the Interpol car from Muppets Most Wanted. We also get to see the Muppets Mobile Lab, a former meet and greet at Epcot for Dr. Honeydew and Beaker. And if you look closely at the green chalkboard, you'll find the notes to the original Muppets theme song. And if you love the Muppets but you didn't want to ride the ride, you have the option to exit right before you board your limo. I highly recommend walking through this queue. There's so many cute details to the Muppets, and of course I think every Muppet fan should see this pre-show. Right next to this exit is a billboard with the infamous alphabet soup directly from Muppet Vision 3D. We also see the year 1960. Rock and Roller Coaster's ride vehicles were inspired by a custom early 1960s Cadillac, specifically a 1962 Cadillac stretch limousine. We also see on the parking lease agreement the date June 7th, 2025. This was the final operation day of Muppet Vision 3D.
I believe I've plotted the best route to the concert. Let's patch our guests into the concert audio.
We're gonna make this next groovalaciously groovy tune double the fun. My heavenly Miss Hudson, shall we begin?
Questlove, you ready?
Let's rock!
Animal, how about you?
Rock and roll with Questlove! 5, 4, 3,
Although we made it to the concert, if you turn around and look above, you'll see the portrait of Jim Henson portrayed as a Muppet. This is very special and significant because it used to be in the pre-show room of Muppet Vision 3D. On the right-hand side, you'll see a bunch of cleaning utilities, specifically mops, referencing each of the band members from the Electric Mayhem. Watching through the concert, you'll see all the previous celebrity cameos, and even some of the Imagineers that worked on the ride. And then in the gift shop, we have the yellow wet paint Do Not Touch, directly ripped from Muppets Courtyard. Same paint, pretty much the same font. I love this. Yeah, also in the gift shop, you could see the little Muppet Vision 3D Easter egg right here. And even after exiting the gift shop, there's still more to point out. On the banners, you'll see significant dates referencing the Muppets. All right, we just finished 3 rides on Rock and Roller Coaster Starring the Muppets. Really great. We're gonna give you our full thoughts when we get home. Actually, just absolutely incredible. I'm speechless right now.
Yeah, I'm a loss of words right now.
Lost for words, literally.
It's just so good. I was not expecting, I had high expectations, but honestly, my expectations were exceeded.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. You have to do it on your visit to Hollywood Studios. Definitely worth the lightning lane if you can do that. It was booked today, so we just waited in standby queue. But yeah, we'll give you our full thoughts and full breakdown when we get home. Okay, it's time to give our final thoughts on the new Rock and Roller Coaster Starring the Muppets. Just to keep things transparent, we did record 2 separate days of the attraction. There was just so much to cover and just not enough time in one day, truthfully. So that just tells you how much the Imagineers did to really reimagine this attraction. There really is so much detail and love poured into this attraction, with nods and references to the former and Muppet Vision tied in there. The pre-show has plenty of dialogue pulled directly from the last couple of scenes in Muppet Vision. The dialogue lines are nearly identical, and it hits. It's super nostalgic. It's just like when I went back on Dinosaur after moving here, you hear that phrase, "Let's go get that dino," and it just hits. I was like, wow, I definitely have been on this ride before. And it's one of those moments where, how about some backstage passes? It hits. It still hits. And just because Kermit's saying it and not Steven Tyler, it is a totally different experience, but it still hits. It's same, but different. And that's the great part about this is you're going to get a different experience almost every single time. And that's kind of why we rode the ride multiple times. We noticed that there's different pre-shows. You'll have different Muppets come on screen. We had Swedish Chef one time, we had Miss Piggy another, and then we had Fozzie Bear in one of those as well. Also, Uncle Deadly kind of briefly appeared during Miss Piggy's one. So that was a nice little surprise thrown in there. Of course, even in the lobby area, you got 30 minutes of footage. You're almost always going to see something a little bit different compared to the last time. And then for the ride, of course, you get 5 randomized songs. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, or Mission Breakout. You want to ride it until you get every single track.
Yeah, we got 5 rides, and we got 3 out of the 5 songs. So 2 rides, we got Love Roller Coaster. The other 2 rides, we got
Rock Rock Till You Drop, featuring Def Leppard, and then Walking on Sunshine with Kelly Clarkson. Yeah, that was really good. I think Rock Rock Till You Drop is the most adjacent to Aerosmith. Probably
Definitely.
My personal favorite right now, but I really like Love Roller Coaster. And even Walking on Sunshine, that was the lowest expectation. In a tier list, I think I had song 2 probably the highest, and then Walking on Sunshine was probably the bottom. But what do you think is going to be the worst?
I
hype?
think Born to Be Wild will be my lowest because we experienced it on Mission Breakout.
Yeah, but it's going to be the Electric Mayhem. It's going to be different. It's not by Steppenwolf. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I just gotta, it's a different flow of a ride.
But I did like Walking on Sunshine because it's like a duet between Janice and Kelly Clarkson. I think that was really cool. But yeah, after those 5 rides, that's still not enough, truthfully, because we were looking through our footage and just seeing more Easter eggs. There's an IOU for a priceless object or a priceless item by Ben. No last name, so we're just assuming it's the associate set decorator from Walt Disney Imagineering. I don't know, maybe someone in the comments could let us know and clarify that. Maybe there's a cast member who could clarify that for us. And when we walked into the alleyway, we noticed a piano right above the queue, and we weren't really sure if that was just cosmetic. And then sure enough, we go through the ride again, and we heard an audio spiel about a dog drooling on the piano, and I had to look it up because me and Caitlin aren't super familiar with all the Muppets in the Muppet universe. So we looked it up, and we think it's Ralph the dog who unironically plays the piano, so it makes perfect sense. But yeah, we're not the biggest Muppet fans. Even when we were saying goodbye to Muppet Vision 3D, we weren't super upset or sad about it, but it's one of those things that you're sad to see it go because it's one of those things you grew up and watched as a kid. We were watching Muppet Vision 3D last night and watching the pre-shows, and I'm starting to really like certain characters that I really didn't know about, and I think that's really what's fun about this new attraction is I had no idea who Robin was. He's adorable. That has got to be my new personal favorite. And then I really like Rizzo the Rat.
I think Gonzo's my favorite because
I I think so too. Or no, Dr. Honeydew and Beaker. I love the nerds.
I mean, I love
the
Beaker
nerds.
too, but and I like Dr. Honeydew's voice. It's just like very soothing. But I feel like Gonzo is like an underdog. Like he's just like a misunderstood guy. And like I don't know if you ever watched Muppets from Space. That's like I just vividly remember that as a kid.
That's a good one to reference Gonzo specifically. But after seeing all the different Muppets, I really like Uncle Deadly too. He's got a very mischievous character. Bobo the Bear. There's over 100 different Muppets on this attraction, you guys. That's a lot. So if you're not a fan of roller coasters and you're maybe scared to do this, I highly recommend just walk through the queue. You can always skip out and exit before you board the limo. I highly recommend. See the pre-show. Look at all the Easter eggs. There's so much memorabilia on this attraction, and any diehard Muppet fan has to do it. Even if you don't like roller coasters, maybe you'll face your fear and jump on the roller coaster, because people were saying like, oh, back when it was Aerosmith, I was too scared to ride it. But now that it's Muppets, I'm willing to give it a shot. So there's definitely going to be some first time folks that have never been on the Rock and Roller Coaster, and this will be their first time experiencing that. So I think that's just overall a positive thing for the park. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more just like this one. And we'll see you next time. Bye.